The whole team, your Los Angeles Lakers.
Greetings, Lakers fans. This is Beyond the Standard. I'm your host, Dylan Cow. Very excited to get started on episode 1 as we talk about the Lakers and their offseason after getting swept in the semi-conference finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder. As the Lakers head into the offseason, they're met with a bunch of challenges ahead of them. They have a lot of player options on the table, and they also have a lot of free agents to think about re-signing and bringing back to the team. We're going to get all into that right now. First topic of today's episode, we are going to break down the press conference that was held on Tuesday with General Manager Rob Pelinka and head coach JJ Redick. The first topic I want to talk about is roster fullness and how Rob Pelinka believes that we lacked roster fullness against OKC. I would have to agree with Rob Pelinka on that one. I would also have to acknowledge that we probably lacked roster fullness most of the regular season. Where I think we were the most whole and full as a team was that February to March run where we went on a 16-2 run. But throughout the season, we were dealing with nagging injuries, whether it was from Marcus Smart, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, or Austin Reeves, all missing a few games here and there during the regular season. And then eventually, towards the end of March, early April, we lose Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic to some pretty serious injuries going into the playoffs. That right there already damages your fullness. It already damages your cohesion going into the playoffs. So I would have to say that building on health is something that I would like to see for the Los Angeles Lakers, and something that Rob also did touch on with the G League team moving to Coachella Valley. There will be more room in the El Segundo facility, and how Rob is working with the Dodgers organization to build on more of the health side of the facility, and how they're going to include biometrics and all this different analytics to break down the health of a player and how to deal with these nagging injuries, or eventually avoid these nagging injuries throughout the season, which I feel like damaged a lot of our fullness and cohesion in the regular season. Coach Redick also did mention that the Lakers need more depth beyond an 8 or 9 man rotation. Obviously, with OKC, they're able to play a 10 to 11 to 12 man rotation, which is insane. That's something the Lakers did not have the luxury of doing, with missing Luka Doncic and some of Austin Reeves in the playoffs. We had to play players that we wouldn't play in the starting lineup, whether it was Rui Hachimura or Jake LaRavia. I do like Rui Hachimura starting. I like Rui starting. I like the strength that he brings to the starting lineup, and also the offensive efficiency that he brings to the starting lineup. Where I think the Lakers should build on the 8 or 9 man rotation is around Luke Kennard and Jackson Hayes, two of our main bench players. Luke Kennard is an underrated playmaker, and he's one of the better playmakers coming off the bench. Jackson Hayes provides a lot of energy and athleticism. I feel like the Lakers should bring back Jackson Hayes, whether it's for a little bit more money or the same money that he was getting before. I believe that we should build the bench around Luke Kennard and Jackson Hayes. In terms of what we have now, Jake LaRavia, I am not too impressed with, mid-season to end of the season. Jake LaRavia struggled offensively, and at the beginning of the season, he mentioned how he wanted to shoot 40% from the three-point line, and he didn't shoot anywhere near 40% ending the regular season, but he did show that he can be a great defender and a great rebounder as a wing. and I feel that he's a piece that we should keep for $6 million. I believe he is fully guaranteed for $6 million going into the season. If things work with Jake LaRavia offensively going into this season, I believe that we should keep him, but we need to see him make improvements so that we can play him coming off the bench. I believe Luke Kennard should play the point guard position coming off the bench so that he can play make for others. In terms of Vando, I'm looking to trade Vando. Vando provides great defense and rebounding for us, where obviously he struggles is on the offensive side of the ball. And, Coach Redick talked about in the beginning of the season how he was impressed with the strides that Vando has made with his three-point shot. And we did see some of Vando's improvements in the shooting, especially from the corner three. But in terms of offensive production, it wasn't quite there this season. So I am looking to trade Vando as his salary is not cheap. It is a quite expensive contract, above $10 million contract. So I'm looking to trade Jared Vanderbilt and build the bench rotation for this Los Angeles Lakers team. What I think they can get for Vanderbilt is a completely different story. I don't think they can get a whole lot unless they can throw a pretty prestigious pick in there, or if they can sell a pitch to another team saying that, hey, we think you guys need defense in terms of the other team that we're trading with. We think you guys need defense. Jared Vanderbilt's a great defender. He also grabs rebounds. He's great. What do you have for us that we can do a 2-for-1 trade? I would like to see the Lakers trade for a power forward or a wing type player that can play defense and somewhat rebound the ball, but also provide efficient offense, whether it's shooting or scoring inside the paint. I believe that having a player that can score inside the paint coming off the bench would probably be ideal with Luke Kennard and Jake LaRavia as the shooters, assuming that Jake LaRavia makes strides with his shooting in the offseason. I believe that you do need more paint dominance. So my rotation would be Luke Kennard, Jake LaRavia, another player at the small forward, another player at the power forward, and then Jackson Hayes. The small forward, I would like a 3-and-D wing. At the power forward, I would like a more paint dominant rebounding power forward. If we can get a power forward that can stretch the floor and shoot the three with consistency, that would be a plus in itself. But obviously those positions are very needed for the bench rotation. And in terms of LeBron, Luka, AR going in and out of the rotation, because sometimes you would see LeBron and Austin and Luka Doncic play with Jackson Hayes, Jake LaRavia, Luke Kennard, or LeBron or Austin playing with the bench rotation. And I believe that we should keep them separate, because I would like AR, LeBron, and Luka to build cohesion as a unit for the starting lineup. And obviously, injuries are inevitable. We will probably deal with nagging injuries through the regular season. So some of those players will end up playing with the bench rotation. But in terms of rotations next season, I would like to see more consistency with LeBron, Luka, and AR coming out of the game at the same time and playing in the game at the same time. I believe that will improve the chemistry with the big three, and I believe it will take this team to another level, whether it's unlocking DeAndre Ayton in the starting lineup or unlocking Rui Hachimura in the starting lineup and building chemistry there. It is also worth mentioning that Rob Pelinka did talk about how when OKC and San Antonio were building all their young talent, that they had to go through a couple seasons of tanking in order to get to where they are at now, and how the Lakers are not willing to do that. The Lakers are looking for a championship contending team every year, especially with talent in Luka Doncic. So we can see that Rob is looking to build a championship roster and build around Luka Doncic. Obviously, that is difficult to do in today's NBA, but with the situation of our salary as it currently stands, we have a lot of flexibility and optionality, and I will break down the salary later in this video. Moving on to another topic about this press conference, Austin Reaves was mentioned in this press conference by Rob Pelinka, and Rob Pelinka has stated that the Lakers are looking to keep their relationship ongoing with Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves does have a player option going into this offseason. He can either decline his player option and demand more money, or he can pick up his option and play off the contract he was already on. What I do think is going to happen, I do think that Austin Reaves is going to decline his player option and demand more money, and I think the Lakers are willing to pay him more. What I would advise the Lakers to do if they do end up paying Austin Reaves is to listen to offers after signing this new contract for Austin Reaves. And the reason why I say that is because you can get 2 to 3 players for Austin Reaves, and you could get one great player for Austin Reaves. And if the Lakers want to build depth to this roster, I would have to just listen to all offers for Austin Reaves. Now, Austin Reaves has stated many times that he loves being a Laker, he wants to stay a Laker, and I admire that, and that's something that I don't take for granted, and I would love to keep Austin Reaves ultimately, but I am going to listen to offers if I can build depth on this roster, if I can trade for Austin Reaves. As far as Rui Hachimura, it was not stated that if the Lakers want to keep the relationship ongoing, but Rob Pelinka did mention that he saw great growth from Rui Hachimura as a player this season, and how it's important to keep a piece like that. And I agree with Rob. I agree that you need to keep a player who shows consistent growth over the years. And I do believe that Rui Hachimura has proved himself to be a consistent starter for this Lakers lineup, as he's offensively efficient and provides great strength on the defensive end. So I am looking to keep Rui Hachimura if possible. As far as LeBron James, Rob Pelinka did mention that they ultimately want to honor LeBron James, whether he wants to stay a Laker, retire, or join another team. And what does that look like? We have no clue. There's been multiple reports that LeBron James is willing to take a substantial pay cut to build the depth of this roster if he does in fact stay a Laker. But what does a pay cut look like? Because currently LeBron James is getting paid $50 million. Does it look like $40 million? Does it look like $30 million? Does it look like $20 million? We won't know until we get there. But ultimately, the Lakers do want to honor LeBron James, and if LeBron James wants to stay a Laker, the Lakers will honor that and decide to keep LeBron James, whether it's for $40 million or $50 million. But I do believe that LeBron James is willing to take a pay cut to increase the depth of this roster, and I am completely on board with it. I would love to keep LeBron. I think legends should retire Lakers. And if you think about it, LeBron has been part of the Lakers the longest for his career. And that's something I wouldn't want to throw away, despite, not meeting LeBron's needs and competing for the Larry O'Brien trophy. I understand that LeBron wants to compete for championships and he wants to compete for something. But if you look at the past few seasons, we've had to deal with a lot of inconsistencies, whether it was having D'Lo, whether it was trading D'Lo, changing coaches, Darvin Ham coaching inefficiencies. We've had to deal with a lot in the past few seasons, especially injuries. And if we can somehow make LeBron understand that, I believe he would want to stay a Laker. And who wouldn't want to play with a star like Luka Doncic? I feel like the chemistry between LeBron and Luka is so valuable to this Lakers organization. Literally, the Lakers organization on their YouTube channel put out a YouTube video of a 15-minute montage of Luka and LeBron having a connection on the court. And that was something that that surprised me. You have 15 minutes of Luka Doncic and LeBron James working together as two players on the floor consistently. I believe that the Lakers can build off that, and I believe that the Lakers should look into keeping LeBron James for any substantial amount of money that he is looking to get. But ultimately, it is honoring LeBron James and seeing what LeBron James would like to do for his future. Breaking down for what I think is next for the Los Angeles Lakers, I think the Lakers are going to keep Austin Reeves, keep LeBron James, ultimately, and we will see another season with Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. As far as the role players that we have, Rui Hachimura, Luke Kennard, DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, I do think the Lakers need to clean house in terms of the bench. I think Jared Vanderbilt needs to go. I do think we should seek a trade with him. I definitely don't think we should sign Maxi Kleber. We have Jake LaRavia under contract, who I think we should keep. I do believe that we should sign Rui this offseason, and if he wants a raise, I definitely think we should give it to him, as he made strides, like I said earlier, this season, and particularly in the playoffs, he played out of his mind, especially Game 4 against OKC. And it was kind of odd for Rui Hachimura to sit out for the last shot and have Austin Reeves take the last shot, but subbing in Maxi Kleber for Rui Hachimura was very odd for me. I understand that Maxi Kleber sets great screens, but in terms of being on the offensive side of the ball, you would think that you want as much offensive optionality as possible on the floor. So I do believe that the Lakers should keep Rui Hachimura. I definitely think the Lakers should keep Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard was on a contract for $11 million this past season. It was an expiring contract coming from the Hawks. And I do believe that Luke deserves around 10 to 11 million, but I do think the Lakers will try to negotiate lower. I have stated earlier that I would love to see Luke Kennard become the playmaker off the bench. We saw great playmaking skills with Luke Kennard, and obviously with what he brings, shooting the three ball as efficiently as he does, that's important for something that is coming off the bench. So I would love to keep Luke Kennard ultimately. Now, in terms of DeAndre Ayton, this is a topic that is very tough, because there's games that DeAndre Ayton does play well and he looks like a top 20 center in the league. And there's games where he is absent and puts up very little numbers. So with DA, I see a lot of inefficiency, especially to be a starter. I see a lot of inefficiencies. DA does have a player option, so he can either pick it up or decline. I do believe that DA will pick up his player option, particularly because I don't think other teams in the league are very high on DeAndre Ayton, as they probably pay attention to the same inefficiencies that we as fans are watching on TV. So I do believe DA will pick up his player option, but I do believe that the Lakers will try to shop him. And JJ Redick did state in the press conference that he did have a great conversation with DeAndre Ayton after Game 4 against OKC. But we heard him have the same conversation with Gabe Vincent, and ultimately Gabe Vincent was traded for Luke Kennard. So I believe that doesn't mean a whole lot. I believe that it means they had a great conversation, and JJ is just trying to build a relationship just in case DA is on the team next season. But I do think that DA picks up his player option, and I do think that we try to shop DeAndre Ayton. In terms of Jackson Hayes, I was very impressed with Jackson Hayes Game 4 against Oklahoma City. In terms of a whole performance as the playoffs and the season, I do believe Jackson Hayes showed a lot of growth on the offensive side of the ball and a lot of growth in the chemistry with him and Luka Doncic, as you've seen him and Luka Doncic going for back-to-back lobs nonstop. And I believe that Jackson Hayes has grown as a defender as well. He showed a lot of skills to protect the rim. The rebounding side of the ball, I'm still kind of iffy on. He kind of looks like Pau Gasol going for rebounds, where he's not going up strong for rebounds. He's kind of getting pushed around down low. And so that would be an area I would want to see Jackson Hayes improve on, especially because he's super athletic. I do believe he can get around 5 to 7, maybe 5 to 8 rebounds a game coming off the bench. But there has to be consistent rotation minutes for him. But I am looking to keep Jackson Hayes as a whole, whether it's for a raise for $8 million. I would say it's in the range for a raise to $7 to $10 million, anywhere around that range. I am accepting ongoing relationship with Jackson Hayes. Anything above $10 million, I'm probably looking to fill Jackson Hayes' spot with another player in free agency or a trade. As far as young talent, we'll start with Dalton Knecht, as we saw little to nothing with Dalton Knecht this season, which was very upsetting. Of course, Dalton Knecht, when he got to Los Angeles, he showed great talent, he showed great scoring, and great versatility as a wing, and that has disappeared, and we have no idea whether it's because of the trade that happened that was ultimately rescinded. But I do believe that has a part to play in it. I do believe that Dalton Knecht mentally is all over the place in terms of what he is as a player and what his rotation looks like as a player in the future, whether it's with the Lakers or not. But I do believe that the Lakers are not high on Dalton Knecht, and I would agree with the Lakers on this one. I am not high on Dalton Knecht, and I don't believe that he should be getting rotation minutes. And I definitely think that there's way too much room for improvement to not trade Dalton Knecht, and I honestly don't even know if there's a trade value for Dalton Knecht as there was before. A lot of teams, when Dalton started his career, were very high on Dalton Knecht and wanted to trade a player like Mark Williams to the Los Angeles Lakers for Dalton Knecht. So it just shows the radical decline that Dalton Knecht has had, and I do believe he doesn't deserve rotation minutes. If we do get rid of him, I would look to either trade for a pick and sign one of our two-way players like Drew Timme. But also, if we can trade him for another player and get another player, that would be awesome as well. In terms of Nick Smith Jr., I was very impressed with Nick Smith Jr. this season. Defensively, didn't really show a whole lot. Offensively, showed so much growth. And, whether it was playmaking offensively or creating his own shot on the offensive side of the ball, we saw a lot of growth from Nick Smith Jr., and I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers are higher on Nick Smith Jr. and want to continue the relationship with Nick Smith Jr. I do believe Nick Smith Jr. needs to develop a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball to become a consistent rotation player. And I do believe that Nick Smith Jr. Can be a solid piece for the Los Angeles Lakers going forward. Moving on to Bronny James, I think Bronny showed significant growth this season, especially defensively. The playmaking was a little hard to determine as they would sub him in garbage time, and he didn't have a lot of time to make plays. And most of the time in the garbage time, he would turn the ball over trying to play make. Offensively, we saw strides of growth with Bronny James. We saw growth with Bronny James. Bronny James has made his shot more efficient, and I do believe he is a prolific finisher. I think from the time we got him till now, I think he's always been a prolific finisher at the rim. But I did see a big growth in Bronny James defensively, and that's something that I think we can value, and that's something that I think we can keep, and also give rotation minutes to going into next season. I do believe that we do have to, in terms of Nick Smith and Bronny James, we should probably watch Summer League and determine whether they are consistent in Summer League and in preseason, if they can perform consistently in preseason, and if they can, I wouldn't be opposed to giving them rotation minutes, and whether that's playing them off the bench with our off of our six-man rotation, whether it's subbing out Luke Kennard and Jake LaRavia for Bronny James and Bronny James and Nick Smith Jr. subbing in for Luke Kennard and Jake LaRavia, taking over that bench rotation. I wouldn't be opposed to that, and I wouldn't be opposed to running that 10 to 11 man rotation with them included in it. Alright, so now that we've covered the press conference, I'm going to move on to breaking down the salary for this coming season. Let me share my screen here, and we're good to go. Alrighty, so as you can see here, 5 players short of a full roster, a few player options, and Nick Smith with a team option on the books. Lakers have approximately $59 million in theoretical cap space, and much of that is determined if LeBron James will take a big contract or not. In terms of the core roster, we still have Jared Vanderbilt. We still have DeAndre Ayton if he does pick up his option, which I believe he will. Still have LaRavia. Marcus Smart. Now, Marcus Smart, I do believe, will decline his player option and demand more money, which I am willing to pay Marcus Smart around $10 million, if not a little bit more than $10 million. He was a big voice for us defensively, and he led us through the playoffs with LeBron James. And I think that's something that's valuable for this Lakers team, especially if we are going to build off our young players or acquire new young players. I believe Marcus Smart is huge to keep for this lineup. Now, Nick Smith Jr., I did mention before, I am looking to continue this relationship with Nick Smith Jr. I am looking to pick up that team option, as I think he is a key young piece for this Lakers organization, and I do believe that we can develop him to be a great point guard. And I think where areas he needs to grow is on the defensive side of the ball. He definitely needs to grow more, and then in terms of playmaking, he needs to definitely grow. One thing to pay attention for here, and this is something for the LeBron James side of things, is that Bronny James has a club option after this next season, and that may give us a sign that LeBron James might be willing to stay with the Lakers for one more season and then decide what he wants to do for the rest of his career, if not retire a Laker. I do believe that Bronny has played quite well. I do believe he deserves $2.4 million. I do believe that we can develop him to be a consistent role player. As far as defense, Bronny is terrific on defense. He is such a scrappy defender. He gets through screens quite easily, and he's always making it tough for his matchup and being a pest on the defensive end. And with his athleticism on the offensive side, the sky is the ceiling for Bronny James Jr. Obviously, LeBron is an unrestricted free agent. He is expected, to stay for a farewell run, I believe. But his next deal could likely be a year-to-year thing. Rui Hachimura, as we can see down at the cap hold, Rui Hachimura is an unrestricted free agent as well. And I do believe Rui wants a pay raise. His $18 million salary expired, but we were able, and here's a key thing to note, we were able to extend Rui Hachimura's contract, but we did not reach an agreement with Rui Hachimura and his side of his of representation, and I think that is a key factor to take into account. Are we going to keep Rui Hachimura, or are we going to let him fall into the hands of another team? I do believe that losing Rui Hachimura hurts the Lakers more than it helps the Lakers. Obviously, building depth is the motto, but I think Rui Hachimura is part of the depth, especially in the starting lineup. I think Rui Hachimura provides a lot of depth there. Luke Kennard, an unrestricted free agent as well. I'm pretty sure his last contract was $11 million. All of these numbers right here that you guys see is projected that the player will get next season. And obviously you can see with Luke Kennard, he would get an 8% increase. He would be looking for an 8% increase in salary. And I do believe that Luke Kennard is worth more, but I do think the Lakers are going to try and sign him for the same contract he was on, if not less. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they gave Luke a higher number than $11 million. Luke Kennard showed some great things this season, and for me, it was the playmaking. The playmaking was really impressive. The ball handling was impressive. And I do believe him coming off the bench provides great depth at the guard position for the bench. And obviously he provides S-tier shooting coming off the bench. He shot 47 or 46% from three in the regular season. I believe that is elite shooting. Obviously, I would like to see Luke Kennard raise his three-point attempts per game, as I think they were kind of already a little bit low prior to him coming to the Lakers, because other teams just looked at him as a shooter and not a playmaker. And now that we have seen the playmaking side from Luke Kennard, I would love to see him get the ball, play make for himself or for others, whether it's creating space for himself on a dribble pull-up or a three ball, or creating space for others to be successful coming off the bench. I'm not looking to keep Maxi Kleber, and I'm also not looking to keep Jared Vanderbilt. I'm looking to trade Jared Vanderbilt. Obviously, Maxi Kleber is an unrestricted free agent, so I would just let him walk there. I do think the Lakers are going to let him walk as well. And I do believe that we are going to look to trade Jared Vanderbilt, as his contract is quite hefty at $12.4 million. Obviously, next year he has a player option. I do not think the Lakers wait for the player option season to trade Jared Vanderbilt. All in all, the Lakers have a lot of flexibility this offseason and a lot on their plate. They have the optionality of acquiring the depth that they desire, or they have the optionality of adding a third star, as they are no longer trapped by the second apron. It is worth noting that as it currently stands with the roster that we have right now, the Lakers are $95 million under the luxury tax level, and they can also use the full mid-level exception this year, this coming offseason, and I do think that most of that will be going to Luke Kennard. We can also re-sign LeBron James using bird rights, which is something that is a plus for the Los Angeles Lakers, but ultimately it is up to LeBron to decide his future with the Los Angeles Lakers. But that is going to do it for the first episode of Beyond the Standard. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be trying to upload weekly, about 2 to 3 times a week. And if you guys could ring the push notification bell to stay notified when I upload, that would be huge. And if you can also like and subscribe to Beyond the Standard LA, that would help as well. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to catch you next time.